Civil War. As with any review, this may contain spoilers. This is really good. Is it great? I can't say yet. I need more time to process the film, but it's good. It falls under the action war genre. The movie throws us in the middle of a US Civil War. There's no backstory or prologue of how or why the war began. If there was, it didn't register with me and I completely missed it. The story initially follows war photojournalist Lee, played by Kirsten Dunst, and her colleague Joel, played by Wagner Moura. They are on the ground in New York City covering some type of protest or demonstration that gets deadly after a bomb is set off. Before the explosion, Lee meets a fan of hers, Jessie, played by Kaylee Spaney, I think that's how you pronounce it, who is an aspiring war photojournalist. Back in a hotel, they meet New York Times veteran reporter Sammy, played by Stephen McKinley Henderson. The next day, all four set out to Washington, D.C. in hopes for an exclusive interview with the president. One thing to realize about the film is that the war is secondary. It's the backdrop. The focus of the movie is the main characters. Not having an explanation of why the war started, did it impact how I felt about the story? Not really. My guess, and I'm making a big assumption here, the reason we didn't get an explanation is because the filmmakers, I assume, wanted there to be less friction between the audience and the story. If there was an explanation, it's bound to be divisive, and the filmmakers wanted the audience to focus on the characters and not be so concerned with the reason for the war, which could have been a distraction to the audience and forcing those watching to pick a side. A big contention leading up to the release of the film was having California and Texas being aligned with each other and leading the Western Front. In the real world, the two states are politically opposite, and it seems far-fetched that these two states would or could join forces. I have two theories as to why California and Texas were chosen. Since both states are politically opposite, this makes the reason for the war ambiguous, which again forces the audience to focus on the characters and leave their political ideologies behind. The other reason is a marketing strategy. It gets the press to talk about the movie, which did happen, and this resulted in free advertisement. Perhaps a third reason would be that these two states are the biggest in the continental US, which could theoretically provide more manpower for Civil War to succeed. Alex Garland wrote and directed the film, and he did a great job. The shots were very dynamic, and the intensity of some of the scenes jumped across the screen. The use of practical effects showcased the impact of war and the brutality of war. There was an explosion in one of the scenes that made me jump back into my seat. It wasn't because of how loud the explosion was, but the way it was executed made the explosion feel like you were there. Alex Garland is an interesting guy in that he has said publicly that this movie is probably his last one as a director. His reasoning behind that decision is his distaste for how the studio system works. I guess he feels that there are too many cooks in the kitchen and he's tired of dealing with that. Overall, the film is really good and it's worth watching. If you stuck around this long, why not give the video a like and subscribe? It's free. Also, check out my other videos. Leave a comment and let me know, what do you think of the film? Did you agree with the film being ambiguous and not really telling us why the war started? See you in the next review.